Yeah, Neptune in Cancer was 1901. Neptune into Leo, went into Leo in 1916. So, and it stayed there until 1929. Okay, so going through the 20s, Neptune was the silent movies, the visionary silent movies, or even color movies, or movies coming up, it was new. Really, it was a whole new visualization of things and a vision of the world. After the First World War, there was a very liberal time. Of course, culturally in the 20s, there was an awful lot of drugs associated with culture. Still is, but then it was more or less legal and not sort of fought so much. But at the end of that, Neptune and Leo, you had the prohibition, the fighting against alcohol. When Neptune went into Virgo, 1929, you had the stock market crash and the Big Depression. So you had the Great Depression through those years, and people were lucky to eat, lucky to have any work, and there was a desperation of belief around work. When Neptune went into Libra, so people born during those years, they're lucky to eat anything. They're the ones who built up the coke, built up the pop and all the junk food things. They'd eat anything. They don't want to be without anything. There's Neptune and Virgo. When Neptune went into Libra, it was the middle of the Second World War, and there was the beginning of America joining in, and all the air warfare started coming and went into Libra. But really, Neptune was from 42 to 56. Neptune in Libra, and it was really the divorce generation, the great dream of after the war, we'll have our home, we'll have a family, we'll get married, it'll be so much better than the war. And you had the dreamy relationship. But listen, I'm kind of saying that looking from a Western perspective, but if you're looking from the East, still, there was the war, there was these things. And the belief in relationships, Neptune and Libra, how things should be or shouldn't be, it ended up being not as it seems, and that generation really ended up having more divorces and fanciful or gullible or guilty relationships. When Neptune went into Scorpio from 56 up to 70, you end up having Neptune and Scorpio, sex and drugs and rock and roll are enough to satisfy my soul. You had really passionate things, and out of this period, there was really obsessions and fantasies and liberations around sexuality. So it ended as Neptune went into Sag, and when into Sag, you started having, really it was the worldwide, the 70 up to 84. It was a merging of philosophies and outlooks, and a lot of immigration and traveling in the world, but a mixing of different beliefs, or a building up of various fanatic beliefs. When Neptune went into Capricorn in 1984, this was the book was written because of that by George Orwell. It was really the system, the belief in the system, or how it isn't there, or the corruption in it. And then it went into Aquarius. By the time it went into Aquarius, I'm sorry, I just got to double check the dates. Neptune went into Aquarius in 98. So from 98 until 2011, Neptune was in Aquarius. Well, this was the internet, the World Wide Web, what's copywritten, what's not, the visualization, the new media was coming to it. And now it's in Pisces. It's building up more of the religious or the philosophical beliefs and what's right and what's wrong, and the immigration and what's kind and what's caring in the world, when there's so many dreams and so much poverty and so much between the 1% and the 99%. Anyways, Neptune has the dream, has the fashion, has the visions, and everyone has it picks it up in a certain way. Everywhere around the world, everyone has it. But where Neptune is in your chart, when you're looking in the houses, it's where you're most gullible. You're projecting your fantasies, your illusions, your delusions, your sorrows, your guilts, your expectations, or if you're in a dependency, you're projecting your lack of independence and perhaps a lack of vision, or perhaps you're projecting a vision that's tied up to everyone else rather than your own. In the end, what's a peaceful consciousness? free of guilt, simple, self-reliant. Wow, that's a healthy relationship to Neptune. Now, just something here. Okay, so there's always a puzzle wherever Neptune is. Something's there, something strange in the neighborhood. How are you going to call? You know, something like it's easy for you to believe too much. It's easier for you to get out of track. So the attitude's set by the generation you're in, but then every day it's in one of the. It can be in any of the different houses, and we're seeing more specific application of this outer planet in our houses. So I like to call it the planet of romance and adventure, because we have a dream of an adventure and we got to go for it, and we could live or die by it. It could be horrible, it could be whatever, but there's the adventure. If you take it, well, if you don't take it, oh, I should have done this. Oh, if only I'd done this. Or if you take it, so I wish I hadn't taken it, or I'm so glad I took it. So the same with romance. Wow, everybody meets somebody they love, or has a moment of love in their life. If not, it's supposed to be every moment, but we've run across someone and we believe or don't believe. Sometimes we believe and we get hurt because the other person didn't. Sometimes they believe and we don't. Let's see, express it spiritually. Love ennobles both the lover and the beloved. Love is an ennobling trust and openness. I used to think I knew what love is, but I haven't a clue what it is. I don't know how to define it, how to explain everything I thought it was. It's not that. It's something more than that. But somehow it's an inner, from this outer planet, there's an inner pulling. And if we're caught out in the outer fantasy, in the outer beliefs, in the outer things, we often lose the reliance on our own inner vision, inner integrity. So everyone has a heart. Everyone loves. So, but prejudice, deception, confusion, all of these things are out there. You know, like, and if you start believing in the difficult things, and it starts pulling you into different pockets of dependencies, fanaticism, guilt, sorrows. I mean, all of the any mass movement, any mass disaster, it's usually involving Neptune. You know, but I mean, if you have something where an airplane crashes, and you'd have to have everybody's going to have a different story where their Neptune is on an airplane crash. You can't do it from that. But when it's on a personal level, you start seeing puzzles or mysteries. Neptune has a special purpose. It dissolves. Uranus has the purpose of shocking and shaking up your ego, and the Saturn just breaks up the structure when it doesn't belong anymore. Well, sometimes the structure is too strong, it can't be shaken up. Neptune dissolves it. It distorts it. It dissolves it. It dissolves the respect of the father. It causes guilt or sorrows or shames. And you can do this to parents, you can do it to ourselves, our own respect. But if we're too serious or too severe in our discipline and we're hurting people, you can't maintain it forever. Like, there is a healing element to Neptune in that it brings you to humility, to simplicity. So the big diseases of Neptune would be guilt, sorrow, dependency, confusion, gullibility, deception, sorrow. The things to solve these things, big expectations, solutions to Neptune would be more simplicity, humility, self-reliance. So Neptune humbles you, it dissolves everything you think is important. Well, this is important, I should do this, I have to do it. It isn't necessarily so. There's a simpler thing there. After you, go ahead. I don't have to do it. But, well, it's difficult to maintain a steady sense of grace where Neptune is. We're still having to be our sun, our Mercury, our Venus, we're trying to be all these things. So we get, the dream sits there. But really, the heart is sitting in your sun, behind your ego. It's a loving heart of what's radiating and real. If you're seeing the dream outside of there, it's kind of like if you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. He's not supposed to be out there. He's supposed to be inside your heart. Okay, so this is like, what's a dream? What's a belief? What's real? What's sincere? What's caring? No guilt is a very special place to be. And I was lucky with my parents. They split up early. There were fights. I committed alcoholic, violent things. So I loved and hated each of them at different times to my life. But before they each died, I had about a year or two with them, was helping them in their weakness and in their letting go. And we got to points of no more guilt. Oh, I feel so lucky that I got to know guilt with my parents before they died. Because once they let go, I wasn't twisted. It wasn't the same for my brothers and sisters, but I was clear. So, wow, I'm grateful for that. So these are Neptune type things. It's a puzzle. In a chart, it's usually something's not as it seems where it is. If there's going to be a gullibility, a confusing, an unreliability, or a fanaticism, or an overbelief, or a desperation to have to do more things, or you get it's delusional. It's visionary. So you want to tap the social conscience and the visionary element of Neptune, but you don't want the guilt and sorrows of it. But boy, when you have a vision, it's hard to live up to a vision and live up to it properly. I tried, didn't work. You know, like, I'll do better next time, hon. Sorry. I couldn't resist having the affair. I'm sorry. I'll make it up. What's faith? What's trust? So these edges that bring up sorrow and like random acts of kindness are a Neptune thing. Kindness, being kind, that's a positive Neptune. Well, some people in today's world, if you're liberal, never mind being kind, if you're liberal or socially conscious to trying to care for other people and think the system should help other people, it's almost a horrible thing right now against the background. Just be simple, selfish, take care of yourself, don't pay for anyone else. We see that playing out in our politics these days. So being shamed, being shunned, these are all Neptune things. Over-investing, embezzling, like borrowing, making a promise, not living up to it, hustling. Like there's a dreamy and a deceptive element in it. So you can go along in this puzzle forever. But how do you know the person you believe in or what you believe in is true? I just know my religion is the only religion in the world that's true. And everyone else must be demons. What if they're all the same? Different specifics, but they all have a common thing. But what belief is one thing, but belief and not belief, like science and things, is still another belief. That's too. No, you don't get answers from Neptune. It's open-ended. It's a puzzle. It's considered a feminine planet because there's no definite, clear-cut factor in it. So when we start bringing this down into the houses and try to see how this great, I mean, we have signs, we have ideas, we have an attitude to vision. So the dream in Libra, Neptune Libra, my generation, the dream of the perfect relationship. Well, I had 3 marriages and a couple of relationships that I was in love with the dream. They didn't work out. The person didn't live up to the dream or didn't buy my dream, and it went different ways. And wow, I was kind of gullible and naive out of that, but I was heartbroken and sad, but I believed. So 30 years of my life chunked down to those beliefs. Probably another 30 just trying to recover from them.